I'm expecting this place to be quirky. Quirky. McAlpine's Grill and Soda Fountain. McAlpine's is a relic from another age, an authentic 1920s soda fountain, one of the very few remaining in the United States. The ice cream was quite good. The food, less so. Still, you can't eat nostalgia, can you? So, today was a scary day, and a relieving day, and a epic day, and a day of changes, and the first day of the rest of your life, and all that. I have officially submitted my resignation and retirement notice. More on that later, but that's what happened today. So the other day I told you how I went to work for the insurance company that I used to work for. How I got the job, and during the course of that job, they had a ArcNet-based Novell network, and I didn't really actually know anything about Novell networks, but I'm a quick study and was able to take over administration of it. And the weird programming language, back in those days there were a lot of these kind of like DBase, only it wasn't DBase, it was some other one that I can't think of its name. And it was kind of a combination of a database and a programming language, all non-standard stuff. And the insurance company, because they had fired this other guy, because he just, bad day, bad day. Like I say, I think he was intentionally unavailable on the day that he knew that the system that he had programmed to self-destruct was going to go, so that they would freak out, so that he could come in, fix the problem, and, hey, I need a raise. Which, that strategy might work. It's not ethical, of course, but it might work, but it backfired because they happened to be talking with the guy at the construction place who said, well, I got a guy who might be able to fix you up in an emergency, and did it as a favor. So they sent me to the manufacturer of that software, and I attended training there, and I learned how to program in it so that I could maintain and update their systems. But it was pretty primitive stuff. Long story short, or short story long, that's how you want to look at it. The company I worked for was what's called a managing general agent. They're not really an agent. They're really, and they're not really an insurance company, but they are more an arm of the insurance company, whereas an insurance agent is a representative of an insurance company. And they were affiliated with an insurance company back in Oklahoma, and, partners and ownership crossovers. And they, back in Oklahoma, had another phase of business with a different type of business, so property and casualty insurance, but a different kind of property and casualty insurance. And they had a system, an IBM System 38, and some software, and which was seriously overkill for us, but somehow we got onto the thing that maybe we needed something like that, of which I knew nothing about, other than I'd done assembly code programming in IBM systems back in college. So got together with IBM. The folks at the insurance company were willing to foot some money so that we could get on a better computer system, because they needed more data. And so we got with IBM. IBM said, well, System 38's overkill for you. Its little baby brother is System 36. It's not quite as sophisticated, but it'll take care of your problems and it'll be suited for your little office. And so we bought one, knowing that I was going to have to write custom insurance, billing, and claim handling software from the ground up, because they weren't going to buy anything, because they did stuff differently than every other insurance company in the world. Don't need to go into that, but they didn't treat premiums the way everyone else does. The System 36 install day came. IBM came out, they put the System 36 in, they had a team there, and then they sat down, they sat with us and had a meeting. After that, they put it in, got the administrator password, got me logged in, and it's like, okay, here are the manuals. Hundreds of manuals. A fully 20 bookshelf foot of manuals. And we went into this meeting and we sat down and they said, hey, you got this System 36, but we have got this most amazing announcement that came out today. We couldn't say anything about it before today because we're not allowed to, or we don't know about it, or whatever the case may be. But today, we have a new computer called the IBM AS400, which is replacing both the System 36 and the System 38, and it's better than both of them. Okay, if you don't know anything about them, it doesn't really matter, except that the System 38 was a pretty damn cool machine with an internal DB2 database system, and it was pretty cool, but you still programmed it in RPG. And the System 36, you still programmed in RGB, but it didn't have a database system on it. This AS400 was really a new model System 38, except that they'd now made it small, like an office refrigerator size. And you could put it in an office space, and because of the stuff that was built in, it was vastly easier to do more complex program. And they said, not only can we tell you about this now, but we can put one in that's got more horsepower than that 36 that you just installed today. And it will be more powerful, it will cost half as much, and we'll take the System 36 back, no cost to you, because you just put it in and you have 30 days when a new computer comes out. And so management said, sure, why not? And we got us AS400. So we actually had the first AS400 in Phoenix, Arizona, because of just the shipping, a little tiny B10 model. Computer gag talk, I know, there you go. And I learned to program it, and I learned to run it, and I learned how to set it up, because it arrived before IBM did, and I set the computer up without them, and they were a little freaked out. I could tell you that story someday. But over the years, I knew that machine inside and out. In fact, the guys at IBM would, tell me I should go work for them, because I knew I couldn't do it. I couldn't be Ty, and back in those days, and that was never me, never would be me, and I couldn't have done it. But it was flattering. For a while I kind of thought they were a bit goofballs, because I felt better at it. I felt like I understood it better and faster, and could interpret it better than they did when they came out. But that's probably familiarity with my particular environment. I don't know. In the end, I found out that IBM really did have some amazing people, and they would crack me up. There were guys there that I knew far more about this than me, or at least a bit more about it than me. And they would come out, and when they would do a routine disk replacement, out would come the manual with the checklist, and it was one by one, check it off. And I'm like, come on, you don't need to do that. Because I would do it, except it was under maintenance, so there was no point for me to do it. And I came in time to recognize they did it the right way. That is the right way to do it. You have a list, you follow the list, and you don't make mistakes that way. You don't skip a step, it doesn't matter whether you know them backwards and forwards. The guy doing it probably could have written the steps out from his head, word for word, but he didn't. Every time, he looked at the step, did the step, checked the step off, worked his way through. Anyway, that's a divergence. I worked for them. I learned how to do the AS400. I learned how to do the programming on the AS400 and how to install them, configure them, swap out parts, do all of that. I learned all of that from this thing because I was the only IT guy and I had that machine to myself. And I worked 16 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week. Because I just enjoyed, I was young and single and enjoyed programming, and so I did the thing. But I wasn't getting more money, and I had even cut back so that I was only working 10 hours a day and usually only 5 days a week instead of 6 or more. But I was still working my butt off for them, but the raises were not good. They were cheap, and an opening came up for the state of Arizona that was looking for exactly RPG programmer AS400s, which were still relatively new at the time. And so that is where I applied to go work for the state of Arizona, and I got the job, obviously, and was put to work doing the development for the Arizona Department of Insurance, which I have just named my employer of the past 28 years, and that's a secret. And I was, part of the team that, well, actually, I was the lead of the team that built the licensing system for insurance agents, starting with that, and then claims handling and a couple of other things that, or complaint handling, that we did. And that is how I got into my job at the Department of Insurance. And that is enough for today.